Rates for a downgraded high-sulphur fuel that automotive experts warn could ruin modern engines. And as shrinking household budgets push consumers to the brink, transport operators have called for a nationwide strike this Monday. The economic fallout has also triggered a political hit, with Kiharu MP Ndindi Nyoro now demanding an emergency recall of Parliament to enact fuel tax cuts. Here's NTV's Laban Shaban with the details.
It is officially the most expensive fuel in Kenyan history, a record-shattering pricing cycle that has left motorists and public transport operators reeling, completely swallowing the political promises of safety cushions. The sharp increase of fuel prices in the country have had far-reaching ramifications. At the Total filling station in Nairobi, motorists are feeling the pain at the pump.
Inaonekana imepanda sana, kila kitu imepanda, maisha ngumu. Sasa serikali ndio inafaa kuamua hii kitu ishukishe bwana.
Kama ni serikali inafaa kuangalia watu, tujue kwa nini mafuta imedouble. Kutoka 90 shillings imekuja 214. Kama ile mahali mafuta ilikuwa inachibwa haijabadilika.
Kenyan drivers are not just outpaying the East Africa region neighbors at the pump. They are paying a premium for a product that is structurally worse than before.
We ought to be having cheaper fuel in terms of landed cost than previously, and especially given that the fuel that Kenyans are consuming now is of much lesser quality than previously.
Hiyo tunaogopa, manake hatujui venye baadaye hiji inaweza kuwa ikaja ikabehave.
The fuel that had been imported already has already gone into vehicles and machines. So there are a lot of concerns and worries.
On April 30th, the state authorized a massive 500% increase in the allowable sulfur content ceiling for imported diesel from 10 milligram per kg to 50 milligram per kg. The 6-month emergency waiver effectively rolls Kenya's fuel specifications back by 11 years. According to mechanics, modern vehicles rely on advanced, high-precision engines that cannot tolerate high sulfur. When this fuel burns, the sulfur reacts with oxygen and internal moisture to form corrosive sulfuric acid.
The engine is mainly made up of metal parts. So these metal parts tend to, bond with this and then oxidize and they break up. So they tend to wear faster than usual.
The state maintains this regulatory compromise was unavoidable, arguing that ongoing global maritime shocks and severe shipping lane disruptions required a temporary waiver.
What I can advise motorists to do, you should change your, service intervals. So let's say you use a synthetic oil that gives you 7,000 kilometers. Try and put it down to around 5,000 kilometers. We don't know how long this fuel will be, in the pipelines in Kenya.
The Motorist Association of Kenya and the Matatu Owners Association have jointly called for a massive nationwide transport strike starting this Monday to protest the hike in fuel prices. Also, political and religious leaders have expressed their disappointment with the government's handling of the fuel crisis.
Na mimi naomba Bwana Ruto, fanya kazi yako vile sheria inataka, linda haki za wananchi, toa ushuru kwenye mafuta. Toa ushuru kwenye mafuta kabisa, mafuta irudi chini, mambo ikishaboreka, vita ikiisha Iran na Waamerikani, utaregesha ushuru wako.
In a formal letter addressed to the National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula, Kiharu MP Ndindi Nyoro has requested an emergency recall of the House from recess to deliberate on urgent legislative interventions aimed at lowering the cost of fuel.
I have already written to the clerk of the National Assembly of my intention to amend the VAT Act so that we exempt especially super petrol, diesel, and kerosene from VAT.
Nyoro has proposed an aggressive 3-part plan to force fuel prices below 190 shillings per litre by tackling local taxes, distribution margins, and executive subsidies. Speaking on Saturday during a burial ceremony in Khwisero, Central Organization of Trade Union Secretary General Francis Atwoli has accused leaders allied to the opposition of inciting Kenyans amid rising fuel prices and the escalating cost of living.
Hata mimi nilisomea uchumi. You cannot be a trade unionist if you don't have any bias in economy. How the economy, your country's economy performs. They should not incite Kenyans against one another. Wawache nyinyi mna akili ya kutosha, mtajichagulia ni nani mnataka kuchagua.
With the fuel prices being historic at over 200 shillings, fears are rife that they could hit the ceiling to above 300 shillings. Kenyans are asking the state for serious interventions. Laban Shaban, NTV, Nairobi.
A deadly resurgence of the Ebola virus has rocked two East African countries, DRC and Uganda. In the Democratic Republic of Congo,